Well, hello, I'm Janet Morana, Executive Director of Priest for Life. Welcome to the program. Well, earlier this month, we had a few defeats, in Ohio and Virginia, and everyone's lamenting, the pro life movement, we can't win post Roe. What's going to happen now? Well, that's not the case. Joining me today is a great champion for the unborn, and we're going to talk about what happened in Ohio, but we're going to tell you how you've got to engage in this battle more than ever before and how we can win. Well, joining me is a dear friend of mine. I've known him for, oh my goodness, a long time, decades. Ooh, you know, his name is Mark Harrington. He's the founder and president of Created Equal. And Mark, welcome to the program.
Well, thanks for having me, Janet. It's a pleasure.
Well, you and I and Father Frank were all on the same page. I think, Father Frank's phrase of America will not reject abortion until America sees abortion. And we're in that mindset. And something I really have to say one of the reasons we lost in Ohio because we didn't let America see abortion, right?
That's right. That's right. I
Yeah,
think that we've been focusing on the woman, or as you say, the mother. And I think
right.
there's obviously we need to be doing that. And we'll move some people on the margins. But this is about abortion. This is about the dismembering, the decapitation, the disemboweling of unborn children. And we've got to take our case to the American people.
I agree. And you know what it is? We have on our website, a page called lookatabortion.com. And I want
Yeah.
to challenge people at the end of this program, go to lookatabortion.com. And, you just can't let anyone who says, I'm pro choice, you got to nail them down to, well, what are you in favor of? What is
Right.
choice? Define it. But before we get into that, let's go back for a minute to Ohio because I know when people woke up that next day in the pro life movement, they were licking their wounds and saying,
Yeah.
well, we all tried to help and why didn't we win? And I have to applaud you, Mark, because Created Equal was out there throttle with volunteers doing the job. So give us a quick nutshell of what happened.
Well, we've unfortunately suffered seven straight defeats now. We're 0 for 7 in these constitutional amendments after the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And I think Ohio is a wake up call because Ohio was unlike Michigan. Michigan was a wake up call, but Ohio was different in that our legislature is controlled by the Republican Party. Our governor is a Republican. It's a reliably red state. Donald Trump carried the state by 8 points in 2016 and 2020. So we had a lot of things going for us in Ohio that were not going for us in these other states, and we thought we had a better shot at it. But we ended up about the same, 57% to 43. People voted yes to enshrine abortion into our Constitution. And so we have to look very closely at what we're doing. And there's a whole lot of lessons learned. I've published my own, assessment of that. We're not going to have time to go into all the details here, but I think the bottom line is this: we've been winning elections. We've won it at the federal level with, the president recently. We overturned Roe versus Wade. Donald Trump was able to put 3 justices on the U.S. Supreme Court, and we're controlling many of the state houses in the country as well as the governor's offices. Yet we're losing the culture on abortion. And that's because we're not making it about the baby, in my opinion. That's why Created Equal, as you all know, takes abortion victim photography into the public square. We cannot abandon the babies. This is about abortion. Now, it's also about all these other issues as well, but we have to make it about abortion because the other side's going to do that. And unfortunately, in Ohio, the other side would say, hey, this is about abortion. And we would say, well, no, it's not. It's about parental rights. It's about these tangential issues, which will move the needle to some degree. But we've got to have the long view. We need to march through culture. We need to be changing hearts and minds, changing public opinion. That's the only way to change the laws.
Right. And of course, you guys were outspent 2-1. We
Yeah.
know most of the money came in from on the pro-abortion side from outside, Hollywood and the
Yep.
Soros's and all those kind of guys
Yep.
just funneling, and Planned Parenthood, of course, funneling tons of money in there and commercials that lied, whereas
Yes.
you guys had beautiful commercials telling the truth but
Yes.
it gets drowned out by, well, the other thing I noticed too was we tried to get stories into your local papers. We had
Mm.
one of our Silent and More regional coordinators, Christy Baylor. I think you might know her. She was very vocal.
Yeah.
We couldn't even get like little pieces that she was writing into the local papers because
Yes.
they were just taking in all the information from the left and nothing else. And here's a woman who had an abortion saying, "No, this is bad for Ohio," and they
Yeah.
wouldn't even listen to her, right?
Yeah, well, we definitely have a money problem. We have a funding problem. We have been outspent in every one of these constitutional amendment efforts in all the states that we've lost. And we need to close the funding gap. There's no question. But we may not ever match them, 1-to-1. So we're going into these battles knowing we're likely going to be outspent. So we have to spend our money more efficiently. The ads have to hit hard. We have to be aggressive. We have to behave as if we are behind, and I would say we are. So we can't just rest on our laurels. And I think some of the ads in Ohio just didn't get it done. We ran 3 ads, as you mentioned, Janet, and we focused on, I think, the 3 main messages that are movers. Number 1, late-term abortion is not something Americans support. And so we ran an ad with Claire Caldwell, who is an abortion survivor, and her twin, who was killed in the abortion. She survived. Her twin did not. And she lived to tell the story. We ran an ad with her. We ran an ad about women's health, which, again, is another issue because these constitutional amendments wipe out all the restrictions and regulations that have been on the books in the states like Ohio and some of these that we might be looking to in 2024. We focused on the women that have died during legal abortion procedures. And then finally, we focused on this. We tried to flip the narrative on this 10-year-old rape victim who was taken to Indiana to have an abortion. We flipped the narrative by saying, well, abortion's legal in Ohio, but would you rather the parents have the say as to whether they have an abortion, or would you rather the rapist be the one to determine that and take someone's child to have an abortion? So we tried to flip the narrative on that. So we had three main messages, 3 main ads, and I think that's what we need to be doing going forward. We need to save our money and keep our powder dry towards the end of the election, where early voting starts, and that's where we start focusing all of our ads, because we just don't have enough money to answer them one for one currently, anyway.
Right. And now you mentioned in Ohio, you have a pro-life state legislature and governor. So
Yes.
I think recently you said they came out with a statement. They're not just sitting back going, "Oh, we lost," right? They're
Right.
taking a more forward approach. What have they said?
Yeah, we have some advantages over Michigan. Michigan's controlled by the Democrats, the legislature is, so there's very little they can do there. Although Rob Muse is going to be, dropping a lawsuit, from what I understand, up there. But what we have is the legislature, and the legislature has basically said that the constitutional amendment does not specifically eliminate all the pro-life laws that have been put on the books over the last 2 decades, and there are like 40 of them. And so our legislature is saying, we're going to fight for every single one of those because they aren't specifically eliminated by the constitutional amendment. And so that's what's going to happen. Our legislature isn't sitting back and waiting for things to take place and just throwing up their hands and say, oh, well, I guess we have legal abortion up to birth, unlimited abortion, and taxpayers are going to pay for it. No, we're fighting for it here. I think the battle has just begun.
And of course, that's kind of like a mistake the pro boards make in these amendments, because if they really wanted to get rid of all the laws, they would have put the language to eliminate,
right.
and they would have named all the different laws in this amendment to throw them out. And the one that drives me the craziest, I think, is they claim to be champions for women, which I want to say is mothers,
right?
But yet they want to get rid of the women's right to know, that a woman should have a waiting period. I mean, when you think about any other medical procedure, if a woman goes to her doctor and he says, well, you're going to have a minor surgery. Well, he doesn't take her into the operating room then and there. No, Oh, he'll schedule it a week or two later. She has time to think about the procedure. He explains it
Hmm.
to her.
Yeah.
And then she has to go to the hospital a day or two ahead for pre-admission testing and all this other stuff. None of that happens, of course, we know in an abortion. But now they want to even take away like 24-hour waiting periods, like
That's
just
right.
to go home and think about it. This is not, what are they afraid that if you give a woman a real choice, she may not choose abortion, which just shows you that's their intention. Sell abortion, 100%, right?
Right, and the constitutional amendments are intentionally vague. The one in Michigan was very much similar to the one here being in Ohio, and I would submit to you probably in all these other states in 2024. And it's vague for a reason, because they want to wipe out all these laws that the state of Ohio, for example, through the legislature, passed and were signed by our governor and put into effect. That's the way this should be done, not by a one-size-fits-all, broad, vague constitutional amendment allowing abortion up to so-called viability and allowing health exceptions. We all know that those words can be interpreted very broadly by judges at the state court level, and so that was their intention. We're not sitting down and letting it happen without a fight.
That's great. And of course, we know looking into 2024, so far we have about 7 states that are
Yes.
trying to get constitutional amendments. One, of course, is Florida, here where my office is.
Yep.
And we're trying with this decline to sign movement right now, trying to stop them from getting signatures. But we have to assume they're going to get it and they're going to be on the
Yes.
ballot. So I think we don't just sit back and wait. Like you
No.
said, we've got to start the conversations now, changing the hearts and minds. I charge everybody, Mark, that you're responsible. I'm not asking you to take out an ad in your local paper, but what I am asking you to have conversations with the people that you come in contact with, your circle of influence. And of course, at Created Equal, and I want you to talk just a minute about the tools you have on your website. Tell us
Hmm.
about it. They have to challenge their people to understand what abortion is, right? And what happens to the baby.
That's exactly right. Visual images is what we use primarily to set the foundation for the debate, because you have to settle the facts before we can have a constructive conversation what abortion does. And the best way to do that is with video or pictures, because they communicate something that is very difficult to do with words alone. As we all know, they're kind of like a data compression device. You can understand something at a glance if it's a picture. And so we use victim imagery in most of our outreach, and that's where we need to get back to doing that. I understand the logic or the argument that in a case like Ohio, we had 8-10 months to prepare. Can we move the needle on abortion enough to get them underneath 50% here in the state of Ohio? That was the argument against focusing solely on abortion issue. But I said to myself, and I told the coalition, I said, well, we can't exclude the issue of abortion. We better go at it 100% and then work on the margins on some of these other things. So I hope that the other states will learn from Ohio. We just cannot continue to repeat the same mistakes, the same messaging, and expect a different result. And I think in Florida, Janet, and I think you already know this would be the crown jewel. Ohio was huge. It was a bellwether for them. But Florida would be the crown jewel in part because you have a 60% threshold. And there are people that I'm hearing saying, oh, it will never happen in Florida at 60%. I said, hold on a minute. I would not rest on that as your only way of defeating this, because we lost at 57% here. The amount of propaganda, lies that they push out on TV and other medium is really hard to counter. And so you guys got to be prepared for a real fight in Florida. I think it is the central battle in 2024.
Well, we are very lucky in that our Attorney General is already fighting
That's good.
for us. She's making a claim that the language, we have a rule here in Florida that any amendment to our Constitution has to be very crystal clear. So she's arguing that the language in this amendment is very fuzzy. It's confusing, and therefore is not fair to the voters. And that whole thing is going to be heard by our state Supreme Court, which You
Okay.
know, we keep our fingers crossed because we do have a more conservative majority on our state Supreme Court. Thank God, because of Governor DeSantis. Since he's been governor, oh my gosh, he just keeps like steamrolling through, keeping everything on a conservative angle. So we're hoping that she can get the whole thing kind of under
Tossed out.
control.
Yeah.
But we have to act like she better she doesn't win. So
No, I
we've got to
know it.
go, you know.
Yeah, that was kind of the case here in Ohio. We tried to, because in Ohio there's a rule that it has to be a single issue, and we argued, at least our attorney general argued, that there was more than one issue in the constitutional amendment. That we didn't prevail in that argument before our Ohio Supreme Court. So yeah, as you say, you want to throw every roadblock in the way onto getting this thing on the ballot, of course. But you have to understand, or at least fight with the idea that they're likely going to get the signatures and they likely will be on the ballot. So you have to be preparing for that inevitability, as we did here in Ohio. And I want to say this to all of us across the nation, for that matter, the world. We have to make these ballot initiatives, these ballot constitutional amendments in these states coming up in 2024 as national referenda on abortion. I was, Ohio was the only one in 2023, and thank God for Priests for Life and SBA and other groups who weighed in. But I had a really hard time getting people to understand the gravity of what was going on here in Ohio. We have to have everybody, and Father Frank's been very open about this in public, we have to make these national battles over abortion. Every single organization in the country should be weighing in with resources, boots on the ground, whatever they can do to fight these. That's the only way we can offset the other side's advantage in the financial side, in the funding side, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that is the truth. And too many groups, Mark, well, especially in the churches, they
Yeah.
listen to their attorneys. Oh, you're going to lose your tax exempt status. First of
Yeah.
all, this is issue advocacy. You're allowed to
Yes.
do that. We're not asking you to endorse candidates here. We're
Right.
asking you to take an issue and run with it. And for
That's right.
goodness sakes, it is the moral issue of our day. It's a
That's
human
right.
rights issue. And
Mm-hmm.
we've got to get every group, every church in every state that these amendments are going to be. And there's a whole list of them. It's not just Florida. It's let's see, let me think of them all.
Missouri,
It's
Arizona, South
Missouri,
Dakota.
South
Yeah.
Dakota. I think it's
Arkansas, I think
Nebraska,
some of
and a
them.
few others. And of
Yep.
course, they have a few more brewing that they haven't even started. Which the way they move things, they might have a few more going. And it goes down to, like we're both saying, we challenge people to talk to the people that you come in contact with. I tell everyone, take out your Christmas card list. Anyone you would send a Christmas card list, then those are the people I want you to talk to, because people in other states. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, anyone watching us right now, someone in Florida, especially with the snowbird season. So many
Yeah.
people come here from other places, and they're here during voting, and they vote in Florida, many of them. So come
Mm-hmm.
on, have those conversations. And at Priest for Life, we have a great webpage, lookatabortion.com. And that's what we have to challenge them. If you say you're pro-choice, look what it does to the baby. And then you can go to abortiontestimony.com, where we have all these testimonies from Silent No More. We have a search engine there, Mark. You want to read about women who were raped and then aborted, and the tragedy that they said the abortion was worse than being raped? We've got the stories. We got the stories of women who were told, that it was going to be their life or the life of their baby, and they caved in to the medical profession and aborted, and they deeply regretted that decision. So we've got the women's stories, or like I like to say, the moms, the mothers who
Mm-hmm.
sacrificed the life of their child because they were pressured into it. Go to abortiontestimony.com. You have tools at Created Equal, and your website again is createdequal.org.
Org. Yeah.
You got stuff up there too. And what we're saying is, come on, use these tools, have those conversations, because, we can convert people over to our side when they see what they're claiming the choice is, right?
Exactly. And these ads that they ran came at the issue. In Ohio, we had a heartbeat law that was in effect for 82 days. And so they made this, they lied basically, but they said this extreme abortion ban doesn't even have exceptions for rape and incest. Well, the law is not in effect in Ohio, still isn't, but they made it about that. And you guys have a heartbeat law. I know it's being held up in your state Supreme Court, I believe. And they're going to make it about that in Florida and other places. So we need to be prepared to deal with this issue of this so-called extreme abortion ban. We need to understand that, what does it mean? First of all, if the heartbeat law is not in effect in the state, they're lying, number one. Rape and incest exceptions are often included in a lot of these states. Not that I'm for them, but it does take the edge off a little bit. But that's how they attacked us over and over and over and over again. And unfortunately, I think our campaign was a little bit flat-footed. It's difficult to respond to every single accusation. I get that, because if you're explaining, you're often losing, as they say in politics. Yeah. But we can't let these lies hang out there unaddressed. That's something that you have to be prepared to go at right away. By the way, they were saying you won't get miscarriage care in Ohio, and birth control is going to be, outlawed, and these types of things. I think that's important that these states like yours begin the messaging now about these issues, because then it gets into the culture a bit, and they start hearing wait a minute, that's not true, and that's important that we start laying that foundation now.
Well, and right now, Mark, Florida has become a tourist destination for abortion because Alabama basically has the abortion clinic shut. Women are just coming across right into Pensacola and having abortions. And yes, our 15-week ban is being held up in court. Okay. And then the heartbeat bill will not go into effect until this court decision with 15 weeks happens first. So both of them are kind of like in suspended animation, waiting. So what does that mean? They're killing babies into the second trimester here in Florida currently, that's when babies feel pain. What I tell the people is show the extremism of the other side and stay focused on late-term abortion. Say this law will allow a baby to be killed, healthy baby, healthy mother in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month of pregnancy. They're going to put a needle through that woman's abdomen, stop that baby's heart, and kill it in utero. Then she's going to deliver a dead baby. And guess what? If they miss killing that baby with the injection and the baby accidentally is born alive, you know what they do? They don't even protect the baby then. They let the baby die. They don't give it care. This is barbaric. And if we can focus on the extremism of the Democratic Party and the pro-abortion, we will win. And when you ask people, do you want your tax dollars paid for that late-term abortion? They say no. So, the problem is, I think, Mark, we're not vocal enough of showing the extremism, and then we get ourselves caught up trying to defend when they're accusing us. So I agree. We've got a lot of work to do. And one more time, tell them about your website and how they can support Created Equal, because I know we've been partners in this for decades, but I want people to know about supporting Mark Harrington and your great work at Created Equal. So here's your time to give your pitch. Go ahead.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Janet. CreatedEqual.org is the website. There's a donate link on the right side. Plus, you can get involved. We have something called the Justice Ride, which is an annual trip to Florida, by the way. We haul bunches of kids, put them in buses. We charter buses, similar to the Freedom Rides, in a sense that we take them down to Florida, and we visit the colleges during spring break up here in the north. And this is our premier training program for the young people. So if you have a young person, either your own children or people in your youth group at church, send them to createdequal.org. Sign up for the Justice Ride. It is one of the better training programs in the country. And Janet, I'll say this, we got killed with the Gen Z crowd and the millennial crowd here in Ohio. They were like 75% voting yes on the amendment. We have to flip that. We have to reach the next generation if we have any chance of defeating these initiatives and sustaining a pro-life state, or for that matter, the country. So createdequal.org/donate, or you can go to justiceriot.org if you're interested in being involved in our premier training program, which happens in February.
Well, make sure you do come to Titusville, Florida. Come
We
by
will.
our office. I'd love to host the group and give them lunch
course.
and stop over. And maybe we do some filming of the kids in our studio. And yes, you got to hit the college campuses here in Florida because that is the problem. Too
It
many of
is.
these young people are just confused about the whole thing. And we've got to show them the truth. And I know you are on those campuses. When they see the pictures of those aborted children, the victim photography, they go, oh, that's what abortion is. Oh, now I'm not in favor of that. It moves the needle. It changes minds. And I want to just thank you for your leadership on this issue. And of course, we will always be partnering with you as we go forward.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and we're looking forward to weighing in whatever way, you in Florida or any of these other states can use to help. We've got some experience here now in Ohio, and we hope to be able to be useful to others who are doing this across the country in 2024.
Okay, Mark, thanks for joining me, and God bless.
God bless you.
Well, brothers and sisters, I hope you got your marching orders now, and I am challenging you to go to lookatabortion.com, look at those babies, look at the victim of abortion photography, and say, that's what choice is. When they banter that word choice, look what it does to a baby. And I know you'll say, we can't support that. And just remember, brothers and sisters, there are some abortions only you're going to be able to stop. And therefore, some lives only you can save. Join us again next time. Thank you, and God bless. Well, hello, I'm Janet Morena, Executive Director of Priests for Life.
And I'm Anthony Vassone of the Resource Department.
And we're here to get you all excited about our Black Friday sale going on now. You're really going to want to catch these great deals, right, Anthony?
Absolutely. We have some major savings for you. First off, we have these two wonderful books, I Just Can't Take It Anymore.
And Why Am I Here Anyway?
Now, both of these books generally retail for $10 each. But for our Black Friday sale, you can get both of them for only $5.
That's right, both! Oh my goodness, Anthony, both for $5! Great little stocking stuffers, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, and these books are fantastic to just have out on your coffee table, and everyone loves to read these books.
And
so it's a great
beautiful,
deal.
beautiful pictures and illustrations inside. Go to prolifeproducts.org and get this Black Friday special. Guess what? While supplies last, as always.
Absolutely.
And of course, we have to get a message, right, about saving the unborn. And we've got great hoodies, don't we? This one is here. Pray to End Abortion. Look at that hoodie. Beautiful, beautiful hoodie.
Yes.
And you have it in blue, right?
Yes, and the blue one is the zip-up style.
And this one
the
is a
maroon
pullover.
one is a pullover.
Pullover, and guess what? These hoodies were regularly, how much, Anthony? $40. Black Friday reduced to $30.
$10 savings.
$10 savings. And when you're snuggling by the fire, great thing to have this on to keep you warm, or going outside for maybe a snowball fight. Go to prolifeproducts.org and get your pro-life hoodies today. And
These are super toasty.
Super toasty, and pray to end abortion. We all should be doing that each and every day. Okay, next
What
up.
else do we have?
Well, besides we need to be praying, we have what to pray with. These are 6 beautiful prayer books, written, of course, by pro-life leader Frank Pavone, and they come in this cute little gift bag. This is a great gift. Now, normally, Anthony, what's the sale on this one?
Normally they're $15 each, which is already a savings because the books are $3 each by themselves.
And you get a big gift
and
bag.
the gift bag. But for our Black Friday special, you can get 2 gift bags for $25.
Oh my goodness, 2 for $25.
I know. What are we
I mean,
doing? Giving this stuff away?
Oh my goodness. And this is a great thing. You know what? You're going in to see Aunt Susie and stopping by her house and, just visiting her for a cup of hot chocolate. Bring her this little prayer book bundle. It's a great thing to have. And you know what it's good for, too? Get a bunch of them, put them under your Christmas tree. Because don't you have this happen, Anthony? Someone comes to your house with a gift for you and you didn't get a gift for them. And you're going,
Yes.
But you got these little gift bundles under your tree,
And you
all
can
ready
just
to go.
and grab one.
And grab one. So
And
again,
they're already wrapped.
already wrapped in the little gift bag. book, so get those now. And the titles are In the Company of His Saints, In the Palm of His Hand, In the Heart of His Mercy, In the Light of His Word, In the Power of His Spirit, and In the Embrace of His Mother. Special two sets for just $25. ProLifeProducts.org. What else?
We're not done yet.
We're not done. Okay, one more thing. Two
What
more
else?
things.
Water bottles.
Water bottles.
Actually, I shouldn't call them water bottles. These are hot and cold beverage bottles. These
can
will
I
keep
have
your.
one too, please?
Of course. These will keep your hot beverages hot and your cold beverages cold for a really long time. They're super insulated.
And I really know they will, because you know what? I actually filled it with ice and water, and here in Florida, oh my goodness, it lasted over 18 hours and my water was still cold.
Same thing with coffee. This thing will.
That's right.
It'll still be warm the next day if you leave it on your desk and you forget about it.
That's right. And again, this is a great sale because these are how much?
All right, these are normally
$15
each.
You can get
and
two.
Now you can get them 2 for $25.
While supplies last. Go to ProLifeProducts.org during our Black Friday sale, and guess what? This sale ends on December 2nd. You got a few extra days here now, so you've got to get going. You got to get these sales because while supplies last, right?
Yep, 2 for $25. Get one of each. Get 2 of a kind. They make great gifts.
That's right. And we do have one more hoodie we forgot to mention over here. Social Justice Begins in the Womb. Another one. Great message. Great thing. And t-shirts also. Pray to End Abortion to wear under those beautiful hoodies that we had. And the t-shirts are really a great deal, aren't they, Anthony? They're normally what?
Normally $25 each.
Oh, wow. And they're reduced to just 20.
Yes.
Great deal.
And they have the large print on the back, small print on the front. It matches the same style with the hoodies, so you could wear them
That's right.
as a
Wears
pair,
them at a set.
as a set.
Okay.
And the social justice hoodie, super big deal. That is ordinarily $30, and now it's only $20. I don't know where you can get any hoodie for $20 these days.
That's right.
It's a
Great
super
deals.
Great quality hoodie.
So these deals are waiting for you at ProLifeProducts.org. Black Friday deals. And you know what? If you're Black Friday shopping, why not bring a message for the unborn? And don't forget these cute little coffee table books. They'll make you laugh. And the prayer book gift sale. Again, ProLifeProducts.org. We hope you have a holly jolly Christmas and have great fun shopping on Black Friday till now through December 2nd, while supplies last. Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
God
and
bless.
God bless.